Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're not doing a TBR video for January. I'm not there yet. I'm actually posting 2 videos this month, which is exciting because I haven't done that in a couple months. So today I wanted to talk more about my reading plans for the whole of 2025 rather than just for January. I am doing something called the 52 Book Challenge. I will leave a link to the website and all of the rules and all the prompt pages and all that down below if anybody wants to try it with me. But I have my iPad today because I'm going to be reading off prompts and matching them to books that I have sitting next to me. As it is said, it's a 52 book challenge, which is basically a book a week. A lot of people finish it a lot faster than that though. I'm just going to be hoping to get through probably 45 of them. I don't know if I'm going to finish the challenge. 52 books is a lot of books, and as I'm looking at them next to me, it's a lot of books. So I have decided to try to use only my TBR, my physical TBR, with the exception of about 5-ish books that I'll just put on the screen. Some of the prompts I just didn't have books for and didn't want to go out and buy new books. So I'm going to be using the library for those. Yeah, I guess we should just get right into it at this point. So I'm going to be putting these on my TBR cart because next year for my TBR, every month, I think I'm just going to be picking from this list of prompts or maybe like 5 from this list of prompts and then maybe 1 other prompt from my actual TBR jar, just because I want to be able to use some variety, but also I'm excited for all these books, so I don't know if that's going to happen. So let's begin with book number 1. So book number 1 might be a stretch. It is a pun in the title. I chose One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. One true love is the saying. I don't really, like, a lot of the pun examples I didn't own or I didn't want to read. It didn't sound interesting, but they had similar vibes to this. So I'm picking One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid for pun in the title. I'm just going to try to hopefully fit them all up on here. So book number 2 is actually a book I don't own. It is Character with Red Hair. I chose Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. And the only reason I chose this specific book is because I've been wanting to read it for a few years now. Like, I keep seeing it in stores, I keep seeing it at my library, and I'm very intrigued by it. And when I looked up books with characters with red hair, that is one of the first books that popped up. So I'm like, okay, it's a sign. I'm just going to put it on there. I'm going to get it from the library. It'll all be good. And that's book number 2. I'm going to be going through these pretty quick just because there's 52 and I don't want this to be a 50-minute video of me talking about every single book for a minute. So the next book is title starts with an M. I chose Mistborn because I am about 36 pages into it and I really want to get into this universe, like the whole of the Cosmere. I've read a lot of the standalones. I have not yet read the actual series yet. So Mistborn is going on here, and it is not the last you're going to be able to see of Brandon Sanderson. Next is title starts with an N. So we had M, and now we have N. And I'm choosing None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. I bought this book because of her, and I've decided that this is the time. This is the time for me to try to read this book. So it's None Shall Sleep. Next is Plot Includes a Heist, and I chose Artemis by Andy Weir. I didn't really look to see what this book is actually about. I did look on Goodreads though, and it did say that this includes a heist, so I said that is good enough for me. So yeah, the first sentence of the summary does say, she never signed up to be a hero, she just wanted to be rich. So I'm assuming that's heisty. That feels heisty to me. So this is that book that I'm going to be choosing for Includes a Heist. So the next 4 are genre-based. So genre 1, 2, 3, and 4. You have to pick 4 different genres, each set in a different season. So one needs to be set in spring, summer, fall, and winter, and none of the genres can overlap and be the same. So the first one I am going for is set in the spring, and I'm choosing The Naturals. This is a YA mystery. I don't really know. I know that this is set in the spring because I looked it up and it said it was. So this is the first book I'm choosing for those. I know that this is very loved by a lot of people and many people are going to be excited that I'm reading it. including a lot of my friends. So, Naturals, Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is my set in spring, and that is prompt number 6. Prompt number 7 is genre 2, set in summer. So for set in summer, genre 2, I chose Emily Henry, Happy Place. This is a contemporary romance, so that is a different genre from YA mystery. I've been really wanting to read this since it came out. I read Book Lovers a couple of years ago and really enjoyed it, so I decided to take in the next book. So I bought this as soon as it came out, haven't read it yet, and I think this is the perfect time. So genre 8. I had a different book here. I had a horror book. I had Dracula for set in autumn. However, I don't really want to read it, in all honesty. And I also realized I don't own it. I thought I owned it, and I went to find it today, and I couldn't find it. So I chose something a little different. It may or may not be fully set in autumn, but it does have some autumn vibes, and it's very, the internet says it's set in autumn because I wanted to read it and I looked it up, and it's from the library, so I have to read it anyway. So I got You Like It Darker by Stephen King. I've been dying to read this. It is a short story collection, different genre, and I'm pretty sure they're also technically like thriller, horror type book, or type stories. So I chose this book. It may be stretching it a little bit, saying it's set in autumn. However, some of the stories specifically say that they're set in autumn in the vibes or like the colder weather that's coming and the shorter days and all that. So, You Like It Darker, Stephen King. I'm not putting this on my cart. I'm just going to put it off to the side because it is a library book and I am currently about to start it. I will say I'm starting this challenge now. I decided to start yesterday because I'm going to go December 15th to December 14th next year. Because I just ended school and I have a full month where I can read. So I decided to take advantage of that and say that I'm starting the challenge now instead of later. So You Like It Darker is number 8. Prompt number 9 is genre 4 and set in winter. I picked Homecoming by Kate Morton. This is an adult mystery thriller set in 2 timelines. It's like a historical thriller. So I chose this one. I love this cover. I bought this basically because of the cover, and then when I read the summary, it just sounds super, super intriguing. It's set on Christmas Eve, so it's set in the winter. It's beautiful. So that is my pick for that prompt. We're on to our second stack, by the way, which is doing pretty good. So I've got like 5 more stacks, so we're on our second stack. So the next book I have, author's last name is also a first name. I think I could have probably picked 30 books off my shelf for this. However, there is one that I've been really wanting to read. I'm going to be picking Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I love that the hardcovers of these books are gorgeous like this, and I'm super intrigued. I'm not 100% sure what this is about. I've heard about it quite a bit, and the premise of it made me want to buy the next 2 in the series also. Anyway, that is my 10th prompt of author's last name is also a first name, Belladonna, and her name is Adeline Grace, and Grace I've heard a lot as a first name. So the next one I've actually already read. I read it yesterday. As I said, I started this challenge yesterday instead of waiting until the 1st. So as I've stated before on this channel, I am currently in the middle of reading the Dark Tower series. And when I looked up for this prompt, there were books that fit from this series. So the next prompt on the list is a prequel. I could have read The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. I could have done that. I could have done Bookshops and Bone Dust, but I don't own that book. So I was like, I'm going to try to read something that I own. Couldn't find anything. I then decided I'm just going to look at the library and see what they have. As I was looking at prequels, I found out that there was a book called The Little Sisters of Eloria by Stephen King that was a prequel to the Dark Tower series. However, it seems to have gone out of print or banned or something. I don't know. I can't find it anywhere. And to buy a copy, it's like $4,000, and I don't have that money. But they did make it into graphic novel version. So this is Little Sisters of Eloria graphic novel version. It's part of the Dark Tower Gunslinger series. Pictures are really cool. Like, they're really pretty. The art is amazing in this book. I read this the other day. I read this last night, and it was really good. I gave it like I think 4 out of 5. For a graphic novel, it goes really quick. It's really fun, and yeah. So I actually have one book checked off this list already, and it's not even the middle of December yet. So that's that. It was also a library book, so, you know. Next, I have the next prompt number 12, I think. Yeah, 12, is, it says a moon on the cover. And I have a lot of books that I could have chosen for that. I could have chosen, you know, your general, like, when the moon hatched, there's obviously a moon on that cover, right? However, I didn't want it to be super obvious. And this actually has 2 moons on the cover, surprisingly. So I chose The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. This was a Book of the Month book I got a couple months back. It is a Viking-inspired fantasy romance, and I'm very excited for it. I've been really wanting to pick this up, and I think now's like the perfect time, like December, January time, because it's winter, it's Viking-inspired, it's Nordic, it's amazing. So I think I'm going to try to pick this up in the next couple months, and we'll see. But this is a moon on the cover. There's a moon here, there's a moon here, and it's the same picture on the back, so there's more moons on the back. So that is why I chose this one over anything else, because I'm excited for it, and it has 2 moons, not just 1. Next prompt is, the title is less than 10 letters, or 10 letters or less. And for that, I chose Dune. This TBR I tried to keep, this challenge TBR I tried to keep a little bit shorter in length, like shorter books. But then I was like, I need to throw at least a couple chunky books on there. I can't just stick to short books because that's going to get boring really fast, and I might not finish the challenges by doing this, but I am going to add a few longer books onto it. I chose Dune by Frank Herbert for my less than 10 letters. Now this book is thick. It is a difficult science fiction. This is actually the first 2 movies. They took this book and turned it into 2 movies rather than 1 movie. So that, if that tells you anything about how complex this book is, it should. And I'm terrified. I think I'm going to have to do the audiobook for this because I don't know if I'm going to be able to understand some of it without the audiobook. My friend at work has read all of them and said they're very confusing, but they're very worth it, and to listen to the audiobook if you need to while you read it. So I said, perfect, Nick, I will do that. So that's where I am with this one. Or the next prompt is climate fiction. I'm not gonna lie, I had to figure out what that meant. I had no idea what that meant. So Gold Fame Citrus is my book for climate fiction. It's about a drought in California, and drought is a climate change factor. So that's what I chose for this. The next prompt includes Latin American history, and I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea what to choose for this. No clue what to choose for this. So because I had no idea what to choose for this, I again went to the internet, I went to Goodreads, looked up Latin American history and fiction books. So I chose Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Morena Garcia. I do not own that book. However, I am willing to get it from the library and listen to it at work because that seems like the easiest way to go for this. I'm not 100% sure what it's about. I'm not 100% sure, like, the genre even. I just know that a lot of people have liked it, and I'm willing to give it a try. So that's going to be my book for that. And then I have author who has won an Edgar Award. So I went onto the Edgar Award website and scrolled until I saw an author that I actually knew. It took a while. I didn't know any of the authors that are on there. So Stephen King actually won an Edgar Award for Mr. Mercedes. And I own Mr. Mercedes. So I'm like, I'm just going to read the book that he won the prize for. So that's what I'm doing. I'm reading Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King for author who has won an Edgar Award. So the next prompt 17, is what we're on. We're not even halfway there yet. So prompt 17 is told in verse, and I chose the Inferno because it's told in verse. It seems really short, and what I've skimmed through, I've somewhat been able to understand. And that's hard to say for a lot of classics. I'm not a classic person, but I think I will enjoy it. I did take philosophy in college, and we talked about Dante's Inferno a little bit, but not a super big amount. So I was intrigued by what I had heard. So I'm doing Dante, the Inferno, and I'm scared. The next one is A Character Who Can Fly. I chose Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. So yeah, and he's got wings on the cover. I'm pretty sure he's probably a bad guy, but like, he's got wings, so he can fly. The next book the next prompt is Has Short Chapters, and I'm doing The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. This is a long book, but there's over 100 chapters in this book. So I think each chapter comes out to be about 3 to 5 pages, which to me is a short book, or a short chapter. And I've got the small pages, so I'm sure in the actual book, like in like the big version of the book, it's probably like 2 or 3 pages a chapter. I read the first book in the series back in high school and absolutely adored it. I love the book. The movie is okay. It's very different from the book, but I did enjoy it. I actually saw the movie first and really liked it, and that's why I read the book. But I love the Da Vinci Code series. I love the puzzles behind it and like the thinking it makes you do. So that's why I picked the Da Vinci Code for short chapters. Next is a fairy tale retelling. And when I tell you I had issues finding a book for this, it was awful. I looked for about an hour. I looked online. I looked on my shelf, like in Goodreads, everything. Could not find a book for it. Finally, one book that I have been putting off and have been holding on my shelf since literally 2021, I'm finally going to read. You can't really tell by the front cover, but this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. They had like 6 different colors, and I liked the Reaper one. I just thought this was really cool. But it's The Children of Blood and Bone. Oh, I don't know how to say her name. By Tomi Adeyemi. I'm not really sure what it's about. I don't really know what fairy tale it's even talking about, but I know that it said it was a fairy tale retelling. That is for that. Then the next one is Character's Name is in the Title. I chose Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton. This comes after the Haunting Adeline series. It's actually a prequel kind of story to it. It's about a character that's mentioned in there, and it's like her story. So, Where's Molly, H.D. Carlton. Very excited. I've been wanting to read that book, just haven't got to it. Then the next is the found family trope. I chose House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I think this is one of the I think this is a very stereotypical found family book. Everybody knows that it's like a house on a hill full of children with magical abilities, and they become like a little family themselves. So I'm choosing that. Plus, the second book in the series just won a Goodreads Choice Award, and I'm going to be trying to read Goodreads Choice Award winners mixed in with these prompts, and then on my TBR in general for the year. Next is a sprayed edge book. I chose Kingmakers Year 1 by Sophie Lark. It's beautiful. It's got these pretty blue edges. It matches the rest of the book. This is college bully romance. I haven't really read one of these yet, so I'll see if I enjoy these as much as I love other dark romances. So that's for that. The next book is Title is a Spoiler. You know how hard it is to find a book where your title is your spoiler and like you don't want to spoil the actual book? So I chose The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. The spoiler is that he's mean. He's cruel. It's wild. But yeah, so that's that one. The next prompt is Breaks the Fourth Wall, and I chose Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I'm not 100% where it breaks the fourth wall. I just know that when I searched up books that break the fourth wall, this was on there, and I've been intrigued by this book a lot. So I chose this book, and I'm excited to read it. The next book is More Than a Million Copies Have Sold. And my friend and I I have a friend that's doing this challenge with me, and she and I actually put the same book down for this prompt. And that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I bought this last month because of a YouTube video that I saw. And I've heard so much about this, but I still don't really know 100% what's going on. I know it's kind of like The Maidens, but more in depth and more thought-provoking. So, this is what's going on for 1 million copies sold. It's considered a modern classic, so there's a lot of people that have bought this book. Next prompt is features a magician, and I could have gone, very simple with like The Magician's Nephew. Again, I'm going with A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab because there's little magicians all over different London. They're called the Antari, and it's a magician with a rare, coveted ability to travel between parallel Londons. Ta-da, magician. So, yeah, magician. The next book is... The next two books go together. It is a crossover between worlds, and I definitely grabbed the wrong book for that, and I'm seeing that now, but I'll just replace it later. So the first one that I chose actually involves me reading Mistborn. So this is not the right one. I'm going to be reading Well of Ascension, not The Hero of Ages for this prompt, because The Well of Ascension is the second book in the series, and this is the third book in the series. So I'm going to be reading Well of Ascension, and then the crossover book, because of the Cosmere, wonderful, I'm going to be starting this chunker, The Way of Kings. This is why I'm not thinking I'm going to finish this challenge, because I do really want to get to these books this year, or in 2025. So The Way of Kings is on there, and it's going to happen, probably. But that's going on this list. Then I have In the Public Domain. I did not know what that meant because I don't pay attention to those types of things. So the public domain is basically, it is old enough for it to not be copyright anymore, and it can be distributed via like ebook or online, or like schools can have 1 billion copies or whatever. So I chose The Picture of Dorian Gray because it seemed like the least scary of the classics that I own. So it seems like a very readable classic. I've heard a lot about it because of Scholastic Bowl in high school, and one of my friends was really into this book. So The Picture of Dorian Gray is going on there. I also have a really pretty edition. And then the audiobook has multiple narrators. So I basically just kept picking books off my shelf until I looked it up on Libby and saw they had multiple narrators. And I chose Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I'm not really sure how this has multiple narrators. I don't really know how this book is set up or whatnot, but it said that it has multiple narrators. I think maybe it's because there's different characters per chapter, maybe? Because this is like Bonzo and it goes into Valentine's. So I think that might be it. But yeah, Ender's Game, Orson Scott Card. It also fits a bunch of other prompts on here, but that one's going on there for that. And then includes a diary entry, and I chose to go a little bit more out of the box with that. I'm doing the Illuminae files, the first one, which is Illuminae. It has diary entries and interviews and data entries and emails and all that. So I think this is perfect for diary entry. Okay, there's like 16 left. I'm over halfway. The next prompt is standalone novel, and I'm choosing Funny Story by Emily Henry. This came out this past year, and my friend and I are going to be budding reading it. A different friend, not the one that I'm doing this challenge with. But yeah, Funny Story by Emily Henry. I think it's really cute. I'm excited to read it, and it's going on this challenge. Next is a direction in the title. This one was really hard, and I did kind of maybe spin it a little bit to help me. But I have the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. Southern is like pretty much a direction. Just take that out. South is a direction. So Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires is going on there. I've not heard the best things about it, but I think it'll be interesting to read through. And who knows, maybe I'll find something that I actually enjoy. I haven't really read a Grady Hendrix book. You tell me, this is probably not the best place to start, but it'll be fun. So this is written in the third person. I have a lot of books that are written in the third person. It just was a lot harder to find one just by grabbing than I thought it would be. But I chose The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I've been really wanting to read this book, and I think now's a good time. And it'll come up eventually in the year, and that'll be a good thing for me. So Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Next is the last sentence in the book is less than 6 words long. I was afraid to find a book like this because I did not want to spoil anything for myself. So I just picked a book that I knew I was going to enjoy and read no matter what I found out. And I only looked at the very last sentence. I did not read anything else on the page, only the last sentence. And I picked The Time of Contempt by Andrzej Sapkowski. It is the next book in the Witcher series. I'm currently reading the first one, like right now. I'm about halfway done with it. And I think it'd be great just to kind of fly into the next book. Yeah, the final sentence for that book is not another word. That's 3 words. That is less than 6. The next one is actually genre chosen for you by somebody else. I'm having my friend that's doing this challenge with me pick that genre. And honestly, she just kind of went and picked the whole book. And I'm going to be reading Lessons in Chemistry by Barney Garmus. I've been really wanting to read this book for literally since it won Goodreads Choice, because that year was the year that we started reading the Goodreads Choice winners, like all of them pretty much. And her and she read it. I never got to that one. So I'm going to be reading Lessons in Chemistry. I don't own it. It'll be a library book. And moving on. So the angle might have changed. I'm sorry about that. My husband called me and I needed to answer. So next book, An Adventure Story. I chose Yumi and the Nightmare Painter because I've been wanting to read it. I've had this on my shelf since my birthday. I've been dying. I need to read this book. It's an adventure. All of Brandon Sanderson's books have adventure vibes, and I don't think this is going to be any different. So this is actually the last Brandon Sanderson on here. Be proud of me. I only put 4. Well, I need to say something. Brandon Sanderson has the best personality ever. I love the man. He's amazing. I've watched his TikToks and his YouTube channel and all that. And I love him. His vibes and his personality are so great. His prose is amazing and his books are great. How can you have that much success and be such a nice human? It's insane. I love it. Thank you, Brandon. Anyway, the next book has an epigraph. I chose Michael Crichton's Micro. He is the author of Jurassic Park. I've never read Jurassic Park. I have seen Jurassic Park. But it does have an epigraph. Minute creatures swarm around us, objects of potentially endless study, ... blah, blah, blah. And it's by E.O. Wilson. I don't know if that's an actual epigraph, if that's somebody actually famous or whatever, but Micro by Michael Crichton. Okay, and the front of the shelf is full, and my shelf doesn't really let me put 2 back to back, so I will do my best. Okay, the next book on here is Stream of Conscious Narration. I'm just gonna say it right now. I hate stream of conscious narration. So when I read that prompt, I was very sad. However, I did look up the prompt because I'm like, maybe something on my shelf is magically stream of consciousness, and I've been excited to read it. We'll see. I actually found one. It's called Parasol Against the Axe by Helen Oyemi. I chose this book because I got it a publisher sent it to me, and I need to get to it because I feel bad not reading it if I got sent it. And it's a stream of conscious narration. Chances are I might be iffy on it, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep an open mind. Oh, I can just put them in between. Cool. Okay, then I'm down to the last 12. So next is cover font is a primary color. For those of you who might not be aware, primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. I'm going to go with rock, paper, scissors because I haven't read any of her, and I heard this is a good place to start. Oh, okay, they are fitting. Perfect. The next prompt is non-human antagonist, and I chose The Institute by Stephen King because the Institute is the antagonist. So yeah. The next prompt is Explores Social Class. This is a book that I've been trying to read for a long time, have not actually gotten through it. It is a color cast system, and it is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I was going to try to finish this month and then put Golden Sun on here for this prompt, but I didn't get to it yet. I'm just going to choose this, and if I get to it this month, great, and if I don't, I'll just pick it up sometime next year. So Red Rising by Pierce Brown explores social class. Boom. Yeah, that didn't fit as well. Okay, the next book is a celebrity on the cover. I do not own this book, but I am trying to put in the Goodreads choice, like I said, and I already have 2 on here. This is my 3rd one. It is a celebrity on the cover, and it is the 3rd Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. I am going to say I'm not really sure. I've seen like 3 episodes of Gilmore Girls, and like it was fine, but I don't think I'd want to sit down and watch the whole show. So this book might not be for me, but we're going to find out. It'll be fun. She's on the cover. Kelly Bishop is on the cover. She is a celebrity. Probably going to just listen to it audibly, find it from my library. I think they have it. I think she reads it, so that'll be great. And then the next book is also another book that I do not own. Well, I own, I just don't have a physical copy of it yet. So the prompt is author releases more than 1 book a year. So I'm reading a book by Alina May. She's one of my best friends. She's one of my author friends that I met on Instagram by reading her arc for her first book. This is the book I'll be reading. I don't remember the title off the top of my head. It comes out in February. So if you like dark romances and know of Alina May, this comes out in February. It's going to be really great. It's an interconnected standalone that she's writing with another author. It's going to be great. So that's that one. Read in a Burr month is the next, and I'm not putting a book here. And I'm going to tell you why. Unless I find something this month that I'm going to read and I can put it for December, I cannot fill this prompt in until September, October, November, December next year. And at that point, I'm probably just going to read whatever I want. And whatever I read in one of those months that isn't one of the other books on this list, that's going to be my book for that prompt. So then the next one that I can actually do is called I Think It Was Blue. This could be title, like a title that has blue in it. This could be a blue colored book. This could be something that makes you feel sad, etc. I chose Renegades by Marissa Meyer. It's blue. All around, it is blue. So that is why I chose that one. The next prompt is related to the word puzzle. I chose The Games House because a game and a puzzle are kind of the same thing. They have the same vibes for me. This is a 3-part book, very quick, easy read. So yeah, I'm choosing The Games House by Claire North. Ooh, that's not gonna fit. There we go. And then I've got 4 more. Set in a country with an active volcano. This can be quite a few countries, I've learned, but I am going to just stick with the United States because Hawaii has active volcanoes, and then Yellowstone's a dormant volcano, but if that ever explodes, we're all done. So I chose The Writing Retreat. Okay, they're starting to not fit. Next is set in the 1940s, and if you know, I've been enjoying historical fiction, so this wasn't that bad to pick something. My grandma sent me this book. She bought it for me. It is The Warsaw Orphan by Kelly Rimmer. She really enjoyed this. It is set in 1942, so that is in the 1940s. So that is my book for that. Okay. Well, they're not fitting anymore, so it's fine. And then the last one that I actually have a book for is 300 to 400 pages long. This book is 374 pages long. It is Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. This is a psychological thriller, science fiction psychological thriller. So yeah, S.A. Barnes, Ghost Station. That is my last book that I'm putting on this cart. And then this is a prompt that I'm going to need help with. So you obviously know or kind of have a gist of what I like to read. This is all different genres here. This is basically anything that you could imagine. So that's that. The prompt that I'm having issues with is published in 2025. I don't really look at publishing or like new releases or anything like too far in advance. I hear about it on YouTube and I'm like, oh, I do want to read that. That sounds really cool. I'm glad that's coming out soon. So this one, I don't know what I'm reading for it, and I need your help. Please give me ideas of what to read for this. I was going to read the next ACOTAR book, but there's a chance that's not coming out this year anymore, and I don't really have a backup. So if you have any books at all that you think I will like that are coming out in 2025, please put them in the comments below. Please convince me to read one of them, because I currently have no idea what I want to pick. So please let me know. But yeah, those are my 52 books. That's 52 books that I am going to be reading in 2025. So instead of 25 and 25, no, I'm switching it. It's 52 and 25. So yeah, wish me luck. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. It'll be a good challenge either way. I think it's going to be really fun. All of these books I'm excited for, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and if you want to join me in this challenge, link is down below. Anyway, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and goodbye.